By the end of the week, the Supreme Court will have made a decision that should be enough to get the Bernie or bust and Demexit folks to put down their phones and take to the streets. It would seem that it is not going to be either one of the decisions relating to affirmative action in higher education, since the majority of Bernie supporters are white. It is probably not going to be Moore versus Harper, which would in a sense allow state legislatures, many of which are heavily skewered towards rural populations, to determine the outcome of elections, as many Bernie supporters are from either safe states or urban and suburban areas that are Democratic strongholds. That would seem to leave the decision relating to student loan forgiveness. This is something that was probably the reason a lot of Bernie supporters held their nose to support Biden, as opposed to the possibility of 4 more years of Trump. If this decision goes the way people anticipate, it is going to leave a lot of Bernie supporters angry, but will it leave them angry enough for them to put down their phones and take the streets, much like the movements in countries like France, Hong Kong, and the women of Iran have done? I don't think so, for a simple reason that many of them probably, since so much of their activism has been based on social media, on tweets and sharing and that, they may not know how to take the streets. I do not claim to be an expert in any way, shape, or form at direct action. I have several comrades that have. I have also participated in events that could be seen as direct action, and it is definitely not for the faint of heart. You are dealing with the risk of arrest. You are also dealing in some cases with the risk of assault from the opposition. However, the idea of Bernie supporters consulting with direct action folks for assistance may not be as obvious as it sounds. For one, many Bernie supporters probably see the folks that engage in direct action. Think of organizations like Rise Up for Abortion Rights, many of the animal rights groups, or even the nefarious or notorious Black Bloc of Antifa as being too radical for them. Which is fascinating because when many of Bernie-supported candidates do not win elections, they will complain about the system, completely ignoring the fact that they may need to work on reaching out to voters of color, especially women of color, and cannot see that the other option, perhaps building a whole other society, is going to require both direct action and mutual aid. For example, a student debt strike, if it were to be proposed, would require some means for the people participating to still get food and other sources of income. Direct action individuals or people that engage in direct action bear a lot of the blame too. A lot of them see the Bernie supporters as the brunch crowd, as the people that are more likely to be more comfortable sitting around discussing things over a cup of coffee rather than being in the streets and marching on the banks. Both sides probably need to sit down, iron out their differences, even though this may mean many Bernie supporters having to check their egos at the door and, as has been said before, let those who bleed lead.